All right, so final exams. They're coming up fast, right? And I totally get that feeling. You're looking at this huge pile of notes for business ethics and thinking, where do I even start? Well, don't worry. We're going to cut right through all of that. Think of this as your secret weapon, your fast track to totally nailing this exam.
So no matter what they throw at you, multiple choice questions, one of those super tricky case studies, or the big one, those long essay answers, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know. Let's just dive right in.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We've actually set this up to mirror what you're going to see on your exam. First up, we're going to master all the key terms, the lingo. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the ethical frameworks that are basically your secret weapon for analysis. After that, we'll take those tools and apply them to a real-world situation. And to wrap it all up, I'm going to give you a can't-miss strategy for those big descriptive questions. Sound good?
All right, let's kick things off with the foundation, the absolute basics. And look, getting these definitions down isn't just about grabbing some easy points on the exam. It's the key that unlocks everything else. Seriously, this is your core vocabulary.
So, first up, the big one. Ethics. The easiest way to think about this is that ethics is the study of why. It's the academic discipline, the formal process of digging into our moral principles. It's the system we use to ask why we think something is right or wrong.
Okay, so then what's morality? How's that different? Well, if ethics is the why, then morality is the what. It's the actual list of beliefs, the rules, the customs that you or I or our whole society actually holds. So, yeah, the simplest way to remember it is, ethics is the study of morality. Easy, right?
And boom, that brings us right back to why we're all here. Business ethics. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're just taking all those big ideas about right and wrong and plugging them straight into the business world. We're talking about everything from decisions made in the boardroom down to how you interact with a customer on the sales floor. Okay, now listen up, because this next one is a classic exam question, a real trap if you're not ready for it. We've got two different flavors of ethics. On one hand, there's normative ethics. Think of this as the rule book. It's prescriptive. It tells us how people should act. Then you've got descriptive ethics. This is more like being a scientist. You're just observing and describing how people do act, without saying if it's right or wrong. So the key difference? Should versus is. You absolutely have to know that distinction.
All right, so now that we've got the vocabulary down, we can start building. It's time to talk about the frameworks. And honestly, these are the most powerful tools you have. They're the models you're going to use to take apart any case study and build a really solid argument. This is your analytical toolkit, for real.
And for your course, you really just need to focus on these four main ones. You've got the utilitarian approach, that's all about the greatest good. Then there's the individualism approach, which is about long-term self-interest. Next is the moral rights approach, which, you guessed it, is about protecting basic human rights. And finally, the justice approach, which is all about being fair and equitable. The key thing for your exam is knowing how to use any of them when you need to.
So let's zoom in on the one you're probably going to see the most, utilitarianism. The basic idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. All it says is that the best, most ethical decision is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. That's it. It's all about doing the math to maximize happiness for everyone involved. And hey, you want that A+ answer? Here's the secret sauce. In your essay, call utilitarianism a consequentialist theory. I know it's a mouthful, it sounds kind of fancy, but all it means is that the consequences, the end result, are the only thing that matters. The action itself doesn't matter, it's all about what happens because of the action.
Okay, so theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. Case studies are going to be a huge part of your final, so let's take what we've learned and apply it to a classic problem you'd find in, say, marketing.
So take a look at this. It really gets at a huge conflict in marketing today, right? On one side, a company could argue, hey, we're collecting user data for the common good. It helps us make better products for everybody. That sounds kind of utilitarian, doesn't it? But then someone using the moral rights approach would come back and say, whoa, hold on. At what point does that violate my basic right to privacy? See? It's that messy gray area, which makes it a perfect question for an exam.
Or how about this one? This is another great marketing ethics question. You go to the grocery store, and right there at the checkout are all the candy bars and magazines. They're put there on purpose to trigger an impulse buy. So is that just a smart, harmless sales tactic? Or is it kind of manipulative? Think about it. How would a utilitarian break that down? Who wins, who loses, who benefits, and who gets harmed?
Okay, we're in the home stretch now. Let's talk about the final boss of your exam,
the big descriptive or essay questions. This is where it all comes together. It's your chance to show the examiner that you don't just know the stuff, you actually understand it.
And I've got a super simple 3-step formula for you to write a perfect answer every single time. Step 1, define your terms. Right at the beginning, show them you know the key concepts from the question. Step 2, apply a framework. Pick one of those tools from our toolkit, like utilitarianism, and use it to analyze the situation. Step 3, conclude. Based on your analysis, make a judgment. State your conclusion clearly. So remember, define, apply, conclude. You do that, you're golden.
So, as you finish up your studying, I just want to leave you with one last thing to think about. It's a question that really gets to the core of this whole subject. What is the single most important ethical duty of any business? Is it to make money for shareholders? Is it to take care of its employees, to serve its customers? Or maybe its duty is to society as a whole? Look, there's no single right answer, but how you argue your point using the definitions and frameworks we've talked about today, well, that's everything. Now go crush that final. You've totally got this.